Hello and welcome. I am Raziel and it is Wednesday, which means theory video when I actually maintain a schedule. And so today's video is about Leon de Ponce. But don't worry, it is a Wild West Exodus video, so I can guarantee you the Order and the Watchers do make their appearance within this video. Now, here's the weird thing. The Watcher's relay was destroyed by Leon de Ponce, not out of malice. It was a complete accident. He found this big pool of water. He believed it to be the fountain of youth, for which he was actually looking for, and so he went to drink it. He lost his hand because it basically aged in seconds and disappeared, which to me sounds more like a very fast acting acid, but a very localized acid, so it didn't feed up his wrist or anything like that. It just ended at his wrist and that was it. And so we have this really quick, fast reacting acid, and then when his golden goblet, I should say, fell into said acid, it caused a massive chain reaction, massive one. And the only acid which does react with gold, though very slowly, is aqua regius, which is hydrochloride and nitric acid combined, and it makes chloric acid. And so you have this chloric acid at the end. But it doesn't create a bright light. It's not an explosive reaction. It's a very slow reaction. And that's about it. So that kind of takes it off the table. So, well, this video is not really about what's in it, but why did Leon de Ponce survive? That's kind of the interesting point here. So when the gold cup, I'm actually going to pretty much read from the law book here, by the way. But the gold from a goblet caused a spectacular and unanticipated chain reaction to ripple through the apparatus. The shockwave pulsed back through the collapsing the portal, vaporizing all the Watchers within half a kilometre of the relay chamber and the surrounding complex. The Watchers and conquistadors were frozen in an instant of time, protected from the terrible firestorm that raged above them. Right, interesting part that bit. So the Watchers and conquistadors survived. They were frozen in time while this massive explosion happened. An explosion that was caused by the goblet, the gold in the goblet, reacting with the liquid, whatever liquid it was. So that's really kind of interesting that it would have this effect. So why did anyone step in? Did anyone try and stop, this from happening, or anything like that? Now, I have a theory, and it kind of fits. And like most theories, they kind of fit. But there's always going to be holes in it. And that is, the Order were involved. Here's the thing about the Order. The Order of the All-Shard are very, very keen on getting the Hex. They knew the Hex was on Earth. They were aware of its location, kind of. They were aware of the Watchers, but never actually saw them as an enemy because, they're not the Hex. They're just kind of in the way. And the Conquistadors were worshipping the Order of the All-Shard. This is what's interesting. What you've got to remember is the Order always portrays itself as some godlike being. These are gods to these people, and that's how they represent themselves to new races when they're looking for the Hex. And you've got to keep them happy or they'll destroy the planet. Probably destroy the planet either way, but you got to keep them happy. We know this via the Dystopian Wars game and the Sultanate, who are very much in league with the Order. The Order give them lots of technology, long as they worship them as gods. And you have these worshippers who found a way of destroying the Watchers quickly, even though it was a complete accident, but also would have use in the future. They were soldiers, they were warriors, and everything else. And so freezing them in time isn't necessarily just a a third dimension thing, because the Watchers don't have that capability. They cannot travel in time. They cannot freeze time. The only way they get from planet to planet is going speed of light, while everyone on board is frozen in cryostasis. So it can't be the Watchers. It's not the Hex, because the Order being there, the Hex would stay well away from them. So it's not the Hex. So it's got to be the Order. And the Order did it because they probably needed these worshippers to continue their worship and how inspired they are within their other countries, such as Spain. Because, and so they can have this bigger network of people and countries and everything else working for them, so they can find the Hex even quicker. So when the freezing wore off and Leon de Ponce goes back to Spain, he will be, full of religious zeal. That's the word, religious zeal, and he'll be like, "Yes, you should have seen it. There was a massive fiery explosion, but we were saved by a bright light. It must have been God." And they'll continue doing this. Well, this spreads the religious aspect of the Order, because more people will believe, and the Order has more power over said country because of the religious status, especially a religion place like Spain at that time, which was very religious and very Catholic. And so that's my theory. They were all frozen quickly, and it had to be quick, by the way, by the Order of the Orshod. And whereas if they have the time to save everyone and to help spread the light of the Order, or the Order of the worship of them, they would have just frozen up. But it had to be such a quick decision, because it did actually appear by a portal as well. But they had to freeze everyone. They had to put them all like that. So that's what happened. The portal was sort of like the way the Order did it. That's how they got them to do it quickly, how they managed to do it so fast. Whereas the explosion that killed all the Watchers, and again, just the Watchers, which is an interesting aspect, which weren't within that part. It's kind of a weird bit of writing there. Again, it's really interesting that the Watchers died, so it was very much a targeted thing for the freezing. They had their target for the freezing of time. They wanted to freeze the humans, not the Watchers, though there were some Watchers caught in the bubble, the time bubble. So that's my theory. What do you think? Do you think it was the Order that saved Leon de Ponce's life? Or do you think it was something else? Or do you think it was just the explosion? No, simple answers, simple and all that. And I'll see you in the next one. If you like the Order, or if you want to get the actual box, which has Leon de Ponce in it, by the way, and it is the Conquistadors one, of an outlaw posse, and it's really cool because they're all on robot horses. There is Wayland Games down below, free delivery after £20. There is Forbidden Planet for comic merchandise, movie merchandise, all that really cool stuff. My merchandise, t-shirts, comics, comics are underneath that one, sorry. T-shirts and stickers, notebooks. Then there's my comic, and there's Skyforge. Give a guy a click, especially if you like Pokemon cards. And finally, there is Patreon, because business. Bye bye.